Hello and welcome to another Writerly Witterings with me, Michael Jex, the tea drinker. This is a lovely tea from Twinings. It was very, very cheap because it was after Christmas and it's called Christmas tea. So I got this very cheaply to bulk out an order, so I got free delivery and it's good. So today I thought would be good fun to look a little bit at some KWZ ink, especially honey, and some comparable inks. And I've made my own selection this morning because there's quite a lot which is sort of brownish or goldenish or yellowish. So I thought I'd go with what has Diamine got which would compare. Now, as you all know, what I tend to do when doing ink tests is I'll use a TWSBI Go with a 1.1mm stub. I wash out the pen in a pot of water and then flush it when it's clean with some clean water. So basically I'm trying to make sure that I don't pollute the pen with crossovers of inks. What I thought I'd do today is look at the honey with a comparison of Diamine Sepia, Diamine Dark Brown, Diamine Autumn Oak and Diamine Golden Brown, because I think these are all pretty comparable types of pastel colour. If I look here, I have some examples. So here's KWZ Honey with Diamine Sepia, which is sort of similar but slightly more reddish tinge, I would say. And then going back to my tests of browns, I've got golden brown and dark brown and all sorts of colours on Tomo River paper, which is useful and it's a good way of testing different inks. But it has become quite obvious recently that different inks really like different papers. So I thought today I would give some tests on some Oxford paper, on some William Hanna paper, on some really quite inexpensive W.H. Smith's lined paper of a cream colour, and also of a very cheap exercise book type of paper, and just see how the different inks compare. And what I'm going to do is first of all try the Diamine Sepia, because I've already preloaded the pen. I will show you doing a little bit of writing, but then what I'm going to do is test all of the inks without talking and just give you the summary of what they all look like on the different types of paper when I've finished. Okay? There's a good reason for that, which is otherwise it'll take me ages and ages and you'll all get thoroughly bored. So this I always think Go should have an exclamation mark. It just looks more natural to me. And now, let's go and try a different ink. I will be back shortly. Okay, I've now been scribbling and working with these inks for half an hour. This is how much time it takes to make these little videos for you, you see. I sit here, I try to get on with my work and writing books, but no, you get me playing with inks instead. So, I am now loading my pen with KWZ Honey. And the first thing you have to notice with this is that lovely smell of vanilla. I believe that it's something to do with the preservative or the lubrication they use in the inks. But I don't care what the reason, it just smells lovely every time you open the cap. Vanilla. Now, And this is the odd thing. When you write, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but it looks almost greenish, and so did golden brown. Which is why I just thought for the fun of it I'll put a real green beside them. So here's Altgoldgrün. But on this cheap paper, and it really is very, very cheap paper, it's a school exercise book, sepia is a delightful ink. Really is. I love that sepia. It just works so well for me. None of these inks, even on cheap paper, create too much of a problem on the other side, which is odd. I thought they would have all gone straight through this. Autumn Oak is orangish, sort of slightly more orangish. Golden Brown is a very appealing sort of slightly greenish tinged sepia, I would say. The dark brown from Diamine is more of a reddish colour, but the honey, it still has a sort of almost greenish hint to it. It is very similar to golden brown, but clearly has a very different makeup. What I do like is it seems to shade even better than the golden brown does, certainly on this paper. Here we have the W.H. Smith's notebook. I can't remember what it's called. I'll put what it's called down here in a moment, but I think it was Moderno or something. But this paper is really very good, and KWZ Honey does seem to work very well on it. And again, this notebook really did surprise me, because it doesn't strike me as looking particularly expensive or well made, but the paper is superb. Absolutely no bleed through, nothing whatsoever. Okay, so now we're on to the much better quality papers. This is William Hanna. And I must admit, I can still see a greenish tinge while I'm writing, but that very soon disappears. I can only assume there's something to do with getting a golden sheen. There's some sort of greenish hint in there to the eye. But when it dries, I would say dries to a darkish caramel colour. Yet again, William Hanna paper, no chance of any bleed through or shadowing on this. This is superb, 115, I think, GSM paper. Really does work well. It doesn't matter what the ink, doesn't matter what the pen. And you can see here that the dark brown, well, let's just have a quick look at these colours. So the sepia, very lovely, pale sepia. Autumn Oak has much more orange in it. Golden Brown is a sort of slightly more brown version of sepia. I don't know why. My eye still sees green in that. Very, very faint green, but green. Could just be my weird eyesight. That definitely is green. This is the... which one is that? Can't remember. That is the dark brown, Diamine dark brown, and really is very, very appealing. And the honey and the golden brown really are very, very similar, but the honey seems to have just that little bit more colour to it. It just pops off the page a bit more than the golden brown from Diamine. Don't know if that shows up, but that's what it looks like from here. And finally, let's have a little look at this. This paper is just wonderful to write on. It's so smooth. Really just delightful paper. And what you notice is that ink dries more slowly on this, and that means it has more chance to run and therefore create shading. Now, here we are with the different inks. I think all of these are among my favourites. They're certainly my favourite browns, apart from Goldgrün. I really like the way that these colours shade. I like the character that they give your writing. Don't forget dark brown. It really is a lovely colour. Golden brown, if you can't get hold of KWZ Honey, I would say Honey has, whoops, it is more of a caramel colour. I think it's got slightly more yellow than the golden brown. Certainly it appears that way to my eye. It pops off the page a little bit better than the golden brown does. However, because of that, when you get shading in golden brown, it shows up more. So if you like the shading, don't forget golden brown either. Autumn oak is a firm favourite with a lot of people I know. I like it. It's a little bit too orangey possibly for general use, but really nice. Sepia is one of my firm favourites. It's one of the inks I will always have in all of my pens. All of my pens? No, not simultaneously. I'll always have it inked up in one of my pens. All of these inks work superbly well on Oxford paper. All of them work superbly well here on the William Hanna. They even work well on really quite cheap WH Smiths, and actually the golden brown and the KWZ Honey, the difference between them shows up really well. Autumn oak seems to work well off this ivory coloured paper, and the dark brown really does pop off the page very, very well indeed. So I'm surprised at that, but this notebook has been a constant surprise to me. It is such a good notebook. I wouldn't have expected it from something which came in a cover that was really so revolting to my eye, but never mind. Diamine sepia, excellent. Oak, excellent. Golden brown, okay. It doesn't show up too much shading. The honey, again, really just pops off the page much more than the others. But don't forget Alt Goldgrün, which is still one of my favourite inks. And so, folks, there you have it. We have KWZ Honey on a variety of different papers. And let me just say again, the thing is, you can buy an ink, and the classic example for me was this one, Writer's Blood, which in theory looks really good. But when I tried it on a number of different papers, it didn't. It looked flat and boring. And most of the other people I know who have tried it have said exactly the same. But those people who tried it on Nemocene paper and on other very high quality papers, good quality Japanese papers in particular, found that it shaded beautifully, that it had a slight sheen, that it was a wonderful writing ink. So it's worthwhile, I think, testing different inks with different papers. And that's the purpose of this, is to show you which papers might work well with certain inks. So if you have some inks that you would like me to compare, I have almost the full range of Diamine inks so I can compare different shades, different colours of them. I also have a vast range of different papers, thanks to the generosity of you guys sending me different notebooks. So let me know if there's anything in particular you'd like me to experiment with on paper, and I'll do a video of them for you. And that's all for now. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope it was interesting. Don't forget to hit the like button and the share button and subscribe, please, and hit the bell button if you do, so you're told when there's a new video coming out. It doesn't cost you anything, so it's worthwhile. And if you're interested in using your own inks and getting to know other people around the world, don't forget there's a Pen Pals Club now. There's a link down at the bottom so that you can send a note to me. If you do, I will give you a link through to the Pen Pals Club, where you can meet people around the world and write to them. And they'll write to you if you're polite. Maybe not if you're not. I don't know. Who cares? I've got to just say, today's been a very strange day, because it is now the 6th of April, and today on the 6th of April, it's snowing. It actually stopped right now, but it's been snowing all morning so far, which is why I'm in here doing a video instead of being out there clearing a garden and a yard and a field. I've got a lot of work to do outside, but so far I'm surviving. Thanks very much for watching. Hope that was interesting, and speak to you soon. Take care. Bye.